And now back to your regularly scheduled wildlife. Hey everybody. That's right, headed out today. Spot we've been to before, state wildlife area. Same general location as where we were out last time, but we didn't have time to go poke around there necessarily. But that's where we're headed today. It rained all of yesterday. It's very foggy today and very wet, so we are going to be in the mud. That'll be all right. We'll just mud it up while we get out there. It's not actively raining, and it's going to be partly cloudy, so it's not like we're going to have super great sunlight or anything, but hey, let's go see what we can see. See you when we get there. Last time when we came out, I forgot something rather important. But it wasn't that, it was this. So I could attach this to this. You know what I forgot this time? The whole thing that attaches to the other trunk. What are you gonna do? Just make do the best that we can. Not ideal, but it'll work. Whew. Now the walk back. Oh boy. We got some stuff to talk about. We got some stuff to talk about. On the wildlife side of things, I walk out there, I'm looking, I'm trying to find a spot. My hands are cold. I'm looking around to find a decent spot. I've been here a few times, gone to similar-ish spots, but like once we're out here locating one, and I found a little spot that I was like, okay, there's a collection of like dead trees in this area. There's actually an old electric pole, as it turns out, the wood that was there. So I set up there because it's got a shot of the water and like a couple tree lines around me. I'm basically in a U shape of trees, and I go, okay, I can see trees on every side, so hopefully I'll see birds on every side, and at the end is the water. And I'm getting set up, and then here comes a boat. And these guys are like parked right in front of where it was. All right, well, that's a little annoying. Turns out, remember the last time we came out, not for the trip, but the time before that, I forgot something. I forgot the tripod attachment for the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 4K because I was using it on a different setup, the whole thing. I rearranged, I moved bags, and I just forgot to put the adapter on there. So basically I couldn't shoot with that. Well, I just set it on the ground. Funny enough, the video that came out yesterday, April 25th, was not supposed to come out yesterday, but I messed up the schedule. That one was actually going to be next week. I even left a gap next Friday in between when I did the wildlife to the other. It's fine. Just the nature, where I just set up and do the landscape shot. That wasn't really scheduled for today in my head. Oh well. So anyway, that was on the ground because I just set it up and kind of propped it up with the lens cap and went, good enough, put it there. So that's what I forgot last time. And I also forgot, apparently, to charge my audio sync. I have these little devices, tentacles, that plug in so that they have time code. So that basically lining up audio to video for wildlife is almost impossible. I've talked about that. Well, guess what? I charged them yesterday, but they were both dead today. Why do devices anyway, I said I was going to focus on the wildlife first, but let's just get through this because I was thinking about it on the walk back more so than I was thinking about the wildlife. Anyway, those things were dead, so I just have audio. It's not going to sound great, but bigger than that, and the big issue, the one that I really forgot, was the second bag. When I rearranged and I put both of the Blackmagic cameras into the backpack, so I could just take one backpack with everything, more or less. The tripod, the big tripod that works, that's fine. I grabbed that, but then I have a little tripod bag. There's not a little tripod in there, but what is in there is the whole rod system to connect for the main camera, the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema 6K, when I'm trying to do something like this and I'm not bringing the really big camera. But anyway, that is really useful to attach to my tripod to then the camera, obviously, and it's got the rod support for the lens. It's not ideal to go without, but I went, all right, well, now what? I can sacrifice, like, that has really hampered everything. Like, now I can't use the better shotgun mic because I don't have the cable. It's part of I attached it to the rod setup, so that shotgun mic's out. I can't balance it very well, so the footage will be fine as long as I'm just steady. But as far as, like, any movement, it was a challenge for that. So, like, I'm thinking along in my head of titles for this because it's the one thing that I really like from everything else. It's something that I still think about is simply titling these videos. And I still don't know what to call it because now my first thought was now back to your regularly scheduled wildlife content, right? Like that's what I said when we started, and that's what I was thinking. It's like that's we're back to the regular stuff. We went on a trip last time. That works. It's fine as a title for me. I'm not trying to go with anything, crazy. But we have a few others. For example, One could be everything went wrong until it went right, because all of that happened, and spirit, Michael's riding high on, like, here's the neutral, oh, okay, wildlife, there's a chance we could see it, and then we show up and the guys are there, and it's like, well, now the audio is going to be, I've had experiences with people on boats who just talk at full volume. They were much more polite than that. I appreciate that. There were a few times where they, got uppity, and a few times with the boat so that they could move back and forth. But for the most part, it was fine. I was recording audio the whole time, even without the sync. I just have it on there, and I couldn't get the wide shot, because the other thing that's on that rod system is the battery hookup, the V-mount adapter. And you take your battery and you put it on there, and then you have access to all of the ports so I can be plugged in. So didn't have that. That's extremely important. It's like, okay, well, I can do it without the audio. That's fine. I have the tentacle sync. Oh no, that's not charged, or it did charge, and then I guess it just turned on after it was done charging and drained the battery since yesterday afternoon when I was charging it. That's cool. So anyway, it's like, okay, so now we can't get it this way, but we can still do this. Adapt. How can I adapt? And then when I realized I didn't have that, and I didn't have the battery, so I couldn't have two cameras going at the same time, because I only had one adapter, so I only had one plug. I don't have the ability to run. I'm going to buy a second cable, so I always have a backup and just keep it in the bag, because I can run D-tap battery to that, but I only had one, so I could power one camera. I typically use one of those, and then I use a different one that goes into the dummy battery. But anyway, all of that went wrong. Just, Michael's hype level of, okay, this could be cool. Oh, no. It's like, the sunlight's not really going to be out, but at least it won't be raining, so maybe we'll see something. We definitely couldn't do still photos today. You need a lot of light for that, especially when I'm trying to take pictures of tiny little birds in movement. Anyway, it was all that, and then we saw wildlife. Little birds here and there, little things, various kinds I'm trying out from the last time. If you missed it during the whole trip with the wildlife, I've discovered an app that so many people are using that I went, oh yeah, that's cool, that will identify birds, suggest identification of birds based on their calls. And that really helps me narrow it down and go, oh yeah, because I haven't been learning too much of the bird calls. I'll recognize them and go, wait, what is that again? If I can't see it, it's harder for me to... I'm very much more visual heavy than I am audio focused. But yeah, getting through all of that, doing the, oh man, all of the things there. And then we saw birds. And we saw multiple birds. We saw a variety of birds. And by the water. That was really the highlight of where we got it to, was the killdeer. I've seen killdeer before, but these are decent sized and, cool. Killdeer's nice. Looking at them, doing that. I see one, then I see a pair, and now that's interesting. And then we'll hear watch. This has only happened one other time, like at all, throughout all of this, is we got to see birds mating. Oh, that's what it's about. We get to watch birds fuck. No, just kidding. That's not. But it's a rare event. It's not something that I've been doing this now, just going out and looking for birds. I switched to doing video in like 2020. So this is 5 years of doing video and 2 or 3 years of still photo before that. I'm approaching a 10-year of just going out and doing this regularly. And throughout all of that, I have witnessed birds doing a mating event once. It was back in Wyoming. It was at a lake reservoir. And it was the American avocet. And they did their little wiggle dance and got on top and did their business and went their separate ways. And I'm like, did I just see that? I didn't even notice it at the time of recording because it was so brief. Turns out that's what it's like. They are wham bam, thank you, man. You can't say that. It is very much a brief mating ritual and then done and split. And I thought it was really interesting. The female, done, off, continue, look for food, do the thing. The male, preen a little bit, then sleep. Just, oh, I've done my part, I'm done. I'm sleeping now. So, that highlight immediately. Killdeer, mating, really cool. Just, it's a rare event. I'm not, to be clear, like, that's not the goal of what's out here. It was a funny joke. But, like, that's really cool. You don't see that very often. It's not something that I've ever documented or even seen in killdeer. I've only seen it once. And now we've seen it twice. A third time? So then, a little bit later on, we've been watching birds. I'm seeing blue jays for a while. I'm seeing chickadees here and there. You know, there's all kinds of birds. It's really cool. We're actually seeing a ton today, and it's really exciting. 'Tis the season, apparently. I mean, that's, right? It's spring. This is when birds are like, oh, winter's over. Let's get together and make children. Then continue this entire life cycle. So that then we have all of the birds here and there. I'm watching, they're getting good shots, I think, I hope, everything. And I hear the woodpecker. And it's back up behind me to the left. And it's pretty high up there. So I do what I can and I point it up there. And I actually get a good shot of it doing that and doing the woodpecker. And I'm able to, it's like between trees, so it's not the most clear, but it moves at one point and gets it again. It's doing its woodpecker noise. So hopefully I have that. That's going to be difficult to edit because I don't have the tentacle sync to get the audio in there. And also when I do a slow motion clip, a high frame rate, the audio doesn't matter anyway, basically. So like we'll see, but it'll look cool. It's going to be a lot harder to get that, but we'll see for the audio part of it. So anyway, we get that, and that's really cool. And then it moves to like right up above me, and I'm doing what I can to take a picture, to, get an image of it basically right behind me, up above me. And then it moves a little further on, and then I'm getting it on. So it's gone from there to over that way, basically right across. And now I can get a clear shot, and it's down more on the level. And then it's like, okay, now I'm seeing. And then there's two of them, and there's a male and a female. And can you guess what they did? That's right. So that was really cool. Just incredible. We went from a lifetime of just seeing birds at all, getting them in the viewfinder of the lens and seeing them and recording them is already such a thrill. That's the whole point of why I'm out here doing it. That's cool. Then we get to see something that's actually interesting behavior besides just out there preening, or the chickadee was like burrowing a lot into this tree. I don't know what it was eating. I was basically getting its backside while it was doing that because it never turned at any point. But there's a pair of chickadees, but they didn't do anything. There's really cool to see all that. And then we get to see them doing a mating as well. And it's like, well, this is even more fascinating. This was a fantastic day out from the footage side of things. Like that was incredible. Everything went wrong until it went right. Really does feel like a pretty good title. Or, we could watch birds. Really cool. Really, really cool. I'm really happy about that. Even with the downsides of the camera stuff that happened. And like, even to the start of the day, I didn't mention it there. I was recording something for Patreon where I was just driving. And another instance very similar to the tentacle sync, but that was the first time. That was, first time. 2 weeks ago, or 4 weeks ago, a month ago. Oh wow, how long has it been? No, it was 2 weeks ago. I went out just before the RV trip. The tentacle sink dying. That was just me. I forgot to charge it. Oh well, whoops. That I could solve for one being dead because I could just plug it into the battery bank. Don't have that battery bank today because that battery, like that's what I left today. But anyway, while we were on the RV trip, another thing I talked about was the issues I've had with this GoPro. This GoPro. This GoPro I've had now for a few years. I bought it while we were still up in the mountains with the money of Patreon, which I've no, hard feelings there or anything. It's just been kind of frustrating that it doesn't quite work or do what I want it to do sometimes. And it's gotten worse sometimes. Like it's one of the memory cards, just I have issues with it recording. Sometimes it loses footage. It shouldn't be doing that, but it has done that. I don't like that, obviously. I've had a lot of issues with it, like killing batteries, especially it's like this housing with the shotgun mic, especially when you just turn it on. I tested it when I was sitting here trying to just earlier, take it out, put it back in, take out the battery or whatever, and it just turns on the camera and then runs the battery all the way down to nothing. I need to, I guess the solution to that might be to see if there's an auto off setting. I've never worried about it. I've never had to. All the other cameras have auto off settings, like of the main ones that could possibly be thrown in a bag like that. I don't know. It's weird. And I just wind up having a dead battery. I charged every single battery yesterday. I made sure to get through all of them. This was one of them. I put it in. I watched it. This is why I'm very frustrated, is that I watched it turn on and go, hey, I don't know the time of day, because it always does that. And it wants to connect to the app, which I really dislike. I understand it can be faster, but it's really annoying to set the date and time and have to do that every single time whenever I've taken a battery out. It doesn't retain, I don't know how long the memory inside of it before it requires that, but it seems to be every time I come out, I have to make sure of that. So I did that yesterday, and I set the time, and I turned it off, and I put it in my bag. And today, I get in the car for driving. I go to press the button so we can record, so I can do a little talk thing, and nothing. And it's dead. And I swapped the battery, and it's fine. So it killed the battery. Came back on at some point. It just turns on. And another thing we talked about while on the RV trip was that I was trying to make it a little more helpful, a little more usable by getting a different adapter. Because whenever that happens, whenever this goes down, I have to take the thing off. What I really don't like is the little attachment for the feet that you have to fold up, and so then I have to unscrew. I'm so tired of screwing in and out this GoPro because of the amount of times that I have to do it. So I got magnetic attachments. This is what this is. And I wound up buying the wrong ones at first. That's on me. I forgot what model I have. Then I bought the right ones. Guess what is not compatible with it because of the shape of this housing with the shotgun mic blocks it, so it wouldn't work, so it wouldn't connect. Well, what I did right before the trip, and by right before the trip, I mean literally right before the trip, it does now work. It attaches. It's stable enough. I have an option to put it on a magnetic thing, and then I can I can put it on the magnet over here for shooting out the front of the car. So I can still use the GoPro because it is still a functioning camera when it feels like it. So irritated by technology. Anyway, I sat there filing away with these files trying to do this. I covered that. I couldn't show it is what I'm talking about. I carved out in order to make this fit. There's all this roughed plastic. Yeah, I know the focusing failed. I know it really can't do this, but I was sitting there doing that for like an hour because I watched an hour-long video while I was trying to slowly carve this stuff away and like file it away. I didn't really have tools. And then I thought about it and went, you idiot, you do have tools. You have a Dremel, an actual Black & Decker full-size Dremel that will take care of this in seconds. And it did once I did that. And then amazingly it fit and now it's fine. So I did take this out. I was going to use it and I wound up using it anyway because I'd already set it up and went, whatever. It's not like it's going to do the best quality. I don't know how long it's going to last. I thought a time lapse of angle of me would be nice while I'm sitting out there doing that for the whole time. So I did let it go and it seemed to stay on finally. That was another thing I've had issues with is when I put it on my chest mount and I'm walking around and I look down and be like, oh, it lost all the footage. Or it's not recording because it's not plugged in because for whatever reason, the battery part, I was already having issues with it as it is. The issues when I got this shotgun mic adapter, which does make the audio actually usable as opposed to not, it has only amplified all of those things. So I'm not using that much anymore, but I'll tell you what I am using that is really nice so far. Today's the first day, but so far I'm quite happy with it. And it's this. Very similar, but it's made by the same company that does this, which I already Don't feel great about that company as it is for reasons, but it's fine. It'll be fine. I'd rather have a working camera that works well. I just have to remember how to, all right, we'll just turn that on. It has a wireless mic similar to what I'm currently using, so I have another option for that. There we go. So now it's going, and I believe we are getting, yep, audio battery level 100%. I can see the level there. That's perfect. Okay. This costs about the same thing as the GoPro and is so far so much better. It has the magnetic attachment built in. So I believe it actually takes the same size, because that was something I was wondering about, and I got some extras anyway. But for the same, yep, there it is. Boom, instantly done. I also have a handle so that I can hold it should I need it. I basically am just giving myself more options for recording. I think it even maybe has a wider field of view. It's doing 4K 60 just fine. I can flip it around. I have a front-facing camera. I don't know how well the audio is if I'm not going to hold this. This is much better quality, as it are. Like, already this I'm quite happy with right from the get-go. I wore it today. I could press the button for recording. It's instantly recording. There's no booting up time. That's something that the GoPro takes forever. When I'm walking out there and something's happening and I need to just one press and go, I need to be going rather quickly. And this is actually doing it. So I'm really happy with that. I haven't seen what it could do. I do like that it also tells me the recording time. That's nice. I know it has an auto off if you're just having it on and it's not going. I'm pretty happy about that. And it, so far I'm pleased. I don't know how well it's going to hold up over time. I don't know the longevity of it. It's a lot newer, so I'm not really surprised, but so far it solves a lot of my problems. I'll see what the battery life is like, and I'll see how well it handles being charged while recording. That's the other thing. As long as it doesn't overheat, which has been that this thing almost never overheats, and that's why I went, okay, whatever this company's done, DJI, I know they also make drones. I'm not interested in that, whatever. But like I'm pleasantly surprised how well this gimbal camera has worked out over time. And I've made it even better by having the wireless mic, which makes it a lot more usable when we're trying to do things. And now I have just another option. It's great. I can put this on me. It's the small form factor so that it just kind of works that way. I'm really happy with it so far. I'm glad I pulled the trigger on that. Yeah, it's expensive. I mean, the whole thing was like $500 to get that and the extra batteries and the kit and the handle that'll be for recording, but the handle also charges it, unlike the one I was just showing you. That's not the one. I actually put it in my bag in the back. I took it with me out there. Where is that in the bag in the back? I'm going to make sure I have that before I drive away. Not that I think I dropped it anywhere because I didn't have it, but I'm just going to double check. Anyway, it's also it's got its own battery bank in it, and I'm like, that's great. That'll just mean that I can use it for longer. So we'll have another option just for extra things, just in case, another angle, another shot, another capable of recording. How does it hurt? Anyway, that's great. That all works really well. I'm thinking. I think that's everything. I think it's time to go. We saw some really cool stuff today. I'm really happy about it. Yeah, there's a lot of really right in a row, but it is really exciting. Besides some of the technical issues that we went through and we dealt with, besides all of that, having a great time. And I look forward to coming back out on Monday. I think the weather will be slightly better. It still says it won't be nearly as rainy. Oh, did you get something? It's an osprey. Oh, come on, give me those binoculars. I ordered some more binoculars. Did you get it? No, I don't think so. Okay. I've been watching that osprey all day. That was also something else. The Merlin, it's the Merlin Bird ID app, was the sound. I didn't hear an osprey, but it picked it up, and then I saw it and went, that is an osprey. Like, I knew it would be, but I was just very shocked. I didn't expect it to pick up even faster and better than I could do, so that was pretty cool. Anyway, yeah, great time out. Hopefully the weather will be slightly better on Monday. We'll see. I'll be coming back out to just do some photography. And like I said, I ordered some more binoculars. They haven't shipped yet. We'll see. I was trying to buy them from just a guy used off of eBay, but he hasn't shipped them yet. So I have a backup plan where I can get them from a reputable seller for sure, but they are more expensive. So we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, I think that's going to do it. Great time out. Great wildlife. Watch some birds have some relations. Not something we see every day. 2 of them got some nice clear footage, I hope. The only thing I'm a bit concerned about is simply the fact that it is indeed quite dark because there is no real sunlight today. But yeah, new camera, new exciting stuff. This is simply just going to make everything better, I hope. Having something that works the way I expect it to and with less hassle is exactly what I'm hoping for. So far, I've tested it at home. This is a real first test coming out and see. We'll see how it handles. As long as everything works great with that, then there are no downsides besides we will be having more footage and more angles and more ways to record and less hassle. That's all I'm hoping for. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Till next time, everybody. See you then. Bye.